Hey everyone, welcome back to Verified Gains. Hope everyone is having a good weekend. Happy Sunday. It is August 10th, 2025. By the way, if you guys have not subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe. I don't want you guys to miss out on life-changing money, okay? We have 35 subscribers so far, gained one more subscriber. Thank you very much. Make sure you guys are catching the videos weekly. I post once a week, sometimes more. Probably, in the month of September, as things start to heat up, I'll probably upload more videos more frequently than just once a week. So please look out for that, okay? So with that being said, let's dive right into the charts. First, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So last time I was talking about how there's a possibility we might, you know, retest 110,000, but I was very confident that we will continue to price to the upside. And that's so far what we've been seeing. Now, this was a little bit of scare when we retested $117,000 at the resistance, got rejected, but we are actually forming this nice green candle that just broke through the resistance line. However, it's not a support line just yet. I would like to see some sort of consolidation above it, a retest, and hopefully a resumption back into the price discovery mode. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. So if I were to dollar cost average into Bitcoin, I'm looking for a good candle formation above it. Okay, possible retest. But once things start to resume back up to the upside like this, okay, a nice little retest and then, resumption to the upside, a similar pattern. And that's my signal to buy more Bitcoin if I were to. Now, am I buying more Bitcoin? No. Okay, so what am I buying? Solana, meme coins on the Solana chain. So if that's what you're into, please make sure to subscribe. However, Bitcoin, most of my holdings are from a couple of years back. Okay, so I've already made 5 times on Bitcoin. I'm not buying more Bitcoin this cycle. Um, and I'll talk more about accumulation strategies during the bear market once this bull cycle, is over. And that's actually very important because, look, I mean, unless you're day trading or doing short-term swing trading, we're really going for the massive gains. Like we're talking about 5x, 10x, 100x gains, six-figure, seven-figure gains. So if you guys are just worried about making like a couple $100 here and there, I mean, it's fine to just kind of trade the charts here. But these are simply metrics that we're looking at to predict the Bitcoin cycle top, not necessarily to tell ourselves that, hey, Bitcoin already went up 5 times. Now, maybe instead of waiting on the sidelines, I should participate. No, I mean, we really should have done that, back when it was $50,000. Okay. And, I've been making these videos, well, since December officially, although my Instagram group has been around since 2020, 2021. Actually, I, I, I think this is a new Instagram group, so I'm just trying to see when's the first time I started posting about these stuff. Yeah, 2020. Okay. So, and me personally, I've been in the crypto, um, circle since 2017. So I've been around a long time doing this. But, in terms of YouTube, I've been uploading videos since, the end of last year. So it's a pretty new channel, but I mean, even back then, it was like $100,000, right? So, you know, even if you had invested since when it was $100,000, I mean, you would have seen some profit over the course of 8 months. In any case, enough about that. So let's take a look at the M2 money shift. And things are looking pretty good, right? Right on schedule. So on my last video, I talked about how, the first half of August, I, expect to see continued price movement to the upside. It looks like it's following, correlating with the M2 money supply fairly well. And for those of you saying that, hey, I think we're going to go back down to $100,000, it's time for a 20-30% correction. As strange as this seems, it looks like that may really not be the case. And certainly we've seen 20 to 30% corrections multiple times on previous cycles. And, one hypothesis might be that with all the institutional um, involvement, that sort of correction may not happen um, at all with Bitcoin moving forward. However, at the cycle top, I still do believe that it is going to be a top for a reason, meaning that we will see a grand correction before the next halving. Okay? And I'll talk a little bit more about that once this is all said and done. Like, let's say I'm predicting mid-September for Bitcoin cycle top, followed by altcoin season. And then after that, we'll formulate and discuss strategies on what to do during the bear market to prepare for the next cycle. Okay. And looking into the future, right? So if the M2 money supply tops out, second or third week of September, depending on what you set as the lagging days over here. So far, it looks like it's the steady decline from the top. And I've said it previously. Look, if you can somehow show me that M2 money supply continues to go up, you know, later in the year, then maybe September top is not going to be the case. However, so far, it looks to be the case because M2 money supply continues to dwindle down. Okay, so I know there are some people saying that, hey, I think, the Bitcoin cycle has been extended. We're going to see the cycle top in 2026. To me, I mean, if that were the case, are we going to see a double top? If not, I probably wouldn't count on it. If anything, I think it's a pretty risky idea to have because there's a high likelihood that you'll just end up holding onto your bags and you won't be able to do anything with it. And you're gonna have to wait until the next halving cycle. So it's basically going to be illiquid. So that's so far what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. Let's talk about Ethereum quickly. So as you guys know, I actually don't buy Ethereum. Um, I do get the macro aspect of Ethereum, what people are trying to say with all the stable coins and all that. But from a purely user perspective, it is just so inefficient and so expensive, unless they make some upgrades to it. And that is actually why I'm a Solana maxi, because Solana is easier to use, cheaper to use, and with all the meme coin narrative, I think that's where the money is. So if you're into Solana, please subscribe to my channel. If you're into Ethereum, of course, welcome to subscribe to my channel as well. And we'll certainly take a look at the Ethereum price chart from time to time. But as some of you who watch my videos regularly may already know, the grand majority of my Ethereum has actually been converted to or swapped into Turbo, which is, of course, my favorite Ethereum meme coin. And I seldom hear people talk about Turbo. Maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. Depends on how you look at it from a meme coin perspective. But that said, it's not like, nobody's holding on to Turbo, and it's not like there's little volume traded. I just, for some reason, people just don't talk about it. But I think it's going to do well, and that's how I'm using my Ethereum. But the good news with Ethereum is that it finally broke through $4,000 and now it's forming this candle. We'll probably retest $4,000, but stay above it. But in the bigger scheme of things, we really do have to break the all-time high, which is around 40, 4,500. And for the average Ethereum user, basically your goal is to see some sort of price discovery during the cycle. I do hope it happens. Why? Because it's going to help out tremendously the meme coins that are on the same network, such as Turbo. So we'll see. In fact, let's take a look at Turbo quickly. Um, so Turbo, things are not looking too bad, right? So nothing too crazy. It's basically showing this sort of explosive price movement to the upside, a little bit of sideways choppy movement. But the idea is that we want to see something like this again, okay? So another explosive movement to the upside and then sideways movement. But not a lot of time until the Bitcoin cycle top, at least what I'm proposing in the fall of 2025. So we'll actually have to see, how much attraction Turbo is able to gain from the mass. But even if it doesn't do a crazy amount of number, I'll probably exit once I feel that the alt season is over. It's not like I lost any money. I mean, I did dollar cost average over a long period of time, so I probably wouldn't say the profit is something substantial. But, initially when I bought Turbo, I already made 10x profit. So overall, I'm happy with it. I'm not, too concerned as long as it doesn't crash. But the idea is that hopefully before it does, I'll already have exited the meme coin. A couple more things. Let's talk about Solana. So things are looking very good, right? So we broke above the previous resistance at 180, and 180 has been a very tough line. I mean, look at how many times we've retested and failed to really stay above it, right? The only time was during this little area. And, the idea is that hopefully there's something we're going to experience very soon, hopefully in the month of August. So we're going to have to retest 205, stay above it, retest 267, stay above it, then price discovery. Okay. So I would say if you're interested in Solana, I still think price below 200 is a steal. I continue to buy into Solana just because I'm a Solana maxi. I think it's the best layer one. There may be other layer ones that are quote unquote more efficient, but just looking at the whole Solana community, the meme coin community, I still feel like Solana is number one. Okay. Speaking of meme coin, let's take a look at POPCAT very quickly. So we're gonna have to really break through the 35-cent resistance line. And it's been a little bit frustrating, but I've still been accumulating POPCAT on the red days, and I'll continue to do so. Hopefully, we retest the previous all-time high around $2, and then more price discovery after that. And although, some may say, so you're telling me that a meme coin is going to go up from 35 cents to $2? Yes. Yes, believe it or not, this is not your S&P 500 mom and pop stock, okay? This is a meme coin, meaning you can see 5x, 10x increases within a span of days, okay? Um, so on my last video, I actually talked about a new meme coin, right? And that was Troll. So if you guys missed out on that video, that's the point I'm trying to make. You guys have to make sure to subscribe and watch my videos because if you don't, you're going to miss out on these life-changing gains. And Troll has been a very fun ride so far. Um, I really do need the volume to pick back up. And the good thing about Troll is when you look at the top holder distribution, uh, it's still looking very good. And that is actually pretty important because you don't want a small number of holders to hold a large portion of the coin because, once they rug pull, that could really crash the meme coin. But for troll, it looks like there's a fairly even distribution among the top holders. And that is always a great thing to look at because there's less likelihood of a rug pull. Now, there could always be a rug pull with meme coin, but less likely when the distribution is so. The other part is, I mean, it's a pretty dumb and funny meme troll, right? I mean, everybody probably has seen the troll meme at least once. And when it comes to meme coin, it just really has to be stupid and dumb. That's it. And it has to be funny. Okay, so if it meets all those criteria, it's probably a good coin to buy. Anyways, it's not like I don't call this investment. I'm just having fun because I'm bored. And so far it's been, you know, pretty good. And we're starting to see some consolidation around the 20 cent mark over here. So I think this is one of those meme coins that could 4x, 5x from here and hit $1 billion market cap. So once I 4x, 5x from here, I'll probably exit. It could go higher. It could go up to $10 billion. I don't fully doubt that, but I'm just doing this for fun. So once I make 4 or 5x, I'll swap that back to Solana and just keep it as Solana.